Hey guys, pardon my disheveled appearance. I didn't realize I was going to have to record this today. I just wanted to give a quick disclaimer before this video starts. This is not necessarily a new video. It's a video that I recorded a couple years ago for List 25, but they never let me release it. So I'm going to release it here instead. So that's that. Okay, on with the actual video. Prepare for 2 years younger Tristan. Goodbye. Let me know if this scenario sounds familiar to you. You have a passion, a hobby, something you've lived and breathed for years, just waiting for an opportunity to present itself. You keep putting it out there that if someone just gave you a chance, you could prove to the world that you are ready to take it by storm. Well, this is exactly what happened to me. And I flunked it. So at the time of this recording, this story takes place only 2 years ago. That's the first thing I want to put out there. A lot can change within 2 years. It's shocking. And that's hitting me harder in the moment because when I just went back to see how long all this took place, I really expected it to be 4 or 5 years ago. But no, only 2. So I guess I'm still learning new things from this experience. So it was late 2016, and I just started my bachelor's program for film and multimedia production. Whereas my AS degree was all about learning the essentials of film, cameras, theories, editing, etc., the bachelor's program was much more about hands-on experience, which, if you want to be a filmmaker, is always the better approach to learning. Well, my teachers had come up with a really cool concept. In the previous year, they produced a shortened class titled Terminal Resolve, about this group of spies on a mission to do, well, something. The problem was that the story wasn't complete. It showcased a lot of unanswered questions, and the ending was pretty ambiguous. So, as there were 2 different classes in the program, my professors decided that one class would produce a prequel to the short, while another class produced the sequel. Their plan was that every year, each class would produce a prequel and a sequel, and the story would just keep on growing in both directions. Awesome concept, that sort of got scrapped after that semester. Nothing wrong with it, we just found something better. So the first real production in my college career was upon us, something I'd waited a really long time for. So you can imagine how excited I was when they informed us that our short, the Terminal Resolve prequel, would be student-directed. When my professors told us that they were actually going to trust one of us to direct, I immediately put my name down for the job. I was so determined that I actually wrote an essay on why I was right for the responsibility. And it worked. My teacher read it and said that there was no question that I was the best choice to make their vision come to life. The pressure was on, but I was ready. At least, I thought I was. Spoilers, I wasn't. No, I did everything that I thought was right. I memorized that script front to back. I stayed up late sending messages to our costume department and producers, met with our lead actress a few times to help us both learn about our character. I thought I had all my bases covered, until it was actually time to film. You see, pre-production has always been my specialty. That's when I can work at my own pace and have time with my thoughts before moving forward with any decisions, before anyone even knows what's running through my head. But once you're on set as a director, everyone has questions, and guess what? You're the first person they're all going to be aimed at. Like I said, I figured that I'd be prepared for everything. Well, funnily enough, I didn't prepare for that. And all of a sudden, I had my entire world closing in on me. I had questions like what scene I wanted to shoot first, what equipment I thought we should all be using, how the shot was going to look in the end, reflector, no reflector, how to maximize the time at each location. And I was frozen from all these questions that a director should be able to answer. I thought about it all later on, and I had answers to everything. But I was so overwhelmed by the sudden responsibility and expectations of leadership that I just couldn't think in the moment. The truth of the matter is that I had a plan for the majority of the day. And things I didn't plan for, I knew who I could have directed the questions at. On the more embarrassing side of things, I probably need to admit to another problem with that shoot date. I had a pretty big crush on the actress we were working with. Yes, I was very single at the time and way more focused on my love life than I should have been. I was also 20, and it turns out that you're still young and stupid at that age. I know this because I'm young and stupid now, so I must have been a borderline cringe fest of stupidity 2 or 3 years ago. Guys, there are exceptions to every rule, I guess, but please try to separate work from relationships. Focusing on that stupid crush was one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my career. She was our only actor, which meant that she was the only performance that we needed to worry about. And here I was directing her as someone who wanted to grab dinner afterwards rather than someone who wanted a good on-screen presence. What do I mean by this, other than the obvious? Well, there were a lot of times where her mannerisms or deliveries weren't exactly what we needed for our short. That wasn't the fault of an actress, but of a socially awkward director who was worried about hurting a girl's feelings. Level of cringe, way too high to even monitor. If you're a director, actors need you to direct. If something feels off in a performance, piece it together and make it better. Sometimes it's the simplest little thing that can make all the difference. Some words might need a little bit more emphasis, or maybe a line needs to be said quicker. You don't have to be a world-class director to get a great performance out of someone, but you do need at least a little confidence. All in all, this project shockingly came together really nicely. Unfortunately, none of the reasons it turned out so well had to do with me. I was lucky enough to have a great crew who all stepped up and did an amazing job. I still have that luck today. The crew I work with is astounding, and my films wouldn't be anything without them. The only difference these days is that I'm actually confident enough to lead them and admit when I need help. At the end of the day, if you need some assistance, it's okay to admit it. You don't have to apologize, but feel comfortable enough to let your crew know that you're always still learning, and it's a mission you guys can go on together. I'm still learning. I never want to stop learning, because once you stop doing that, what's left to do except to go to bed and die? And on that happy note, that's one of my biggest filmmaking failures. Although, my career has to be doing somewhat decently if my failure didn't involve anybody dying or any type of scandal. So I'll take it. So, what are some of the biggest screw-ups you've had in your careers? Let me know in the comments below, and know that it's all gonna be okay. And until next week at the same time, good night.